Big shots by
Gustafsson
John
in a
Jones.
world of trouble here.
Gustafsson's in trouble. That's
John
it.
Jones has
That's it.
regained the throne.
Over the years, UFC has seen some super impressive winning streaks. Being able to defeat one of the top fighters once is a challenge in itself, but to have a winning streak is a whole other level. Many fighters for the UFC have even managed to retire with their winning streaks completely unharmed, while other fighters have been beaten by their opponents at a later date. In this video, we will be talking about the longest active win streaks in the UFC. If you like content like this, make sure to keep watching. Let's hop into the video. Number 1. Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira was the latest fighter to have an active winning streak in the UFC. He originally made his debut in 2011, but proved himself an impressive fighter. He has been many top fighters, but has also faced many ups and downs during his run. Between 2014 and 2015, he managed to win 4 fights in a row, but this title was stripped from Oliveira shortly after by Max Holloway at UFC Fight Night 74. However, since 2018, he has won a whopping 7 fights in a row, gaining his win streak back, and getting his wins by either knockout or submission. After defeating Kevin Lee at UFC Fight Night 170, he became the fighter with the most wins from submission in UFC history. Number 2. Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards is considered one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC, but many big UFC fans would know that this British fighter has a lot of skill and talent. Despite actually losing his UFC debut in 2014, but won his 2 fights afterwards. However, Edwards has not lost a fight since 2015, and between 2016 and 2019, he compiled an 8-fight winning streak against other top UFC fighters, making him a top fighter as well. We can definitely expect Edwards to have more success and an even longer winning streak in the future. Number 3. Alexander Volkanovski. Alexander Volkanovski is currently the reigning featherweight champion, so his name has definitely been talked about by both fans and critics of UFC. He even won a wrestling title as early as age 12, showing his skills and passion for the sport from childhood. He also had a lot of success as a rugby player before joining the MMA in 2012, and won 10 fights straight before joining UFC. He scored a TKO knockout in his debut fight, making a great impression on fans. He also knocked out Chaz Mendes at UFC 232, while on his way to winning the featherweight championship, and his current streak is 8 in a row, but it doesn't look like he'll be losing any fights anytime soon. Number 4. Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya is the undefeated middleweight champion. He had a lot of fighting experience before winning the title, and before his UFC debut, Adesanya competed as a kickboxer and an MMA fighter with over 80 fights taken part in. He joined the UFC in 2018 and won his first 4 fights, leading to a showdown with MMA legend Anderson Silva, which Adesanya also won. He then beat champion Robin Whittaker, who currently holds an 8-fight winning streak, the 3rd highest streak in the division's history. We know that Adesanya can win a fight, so we can only expect this streak to keep growing with time. Number 5. Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes is the women's featherweight champion and is considered the greatest female fighter of all time. She holds 2 titles simultaneously and is the first woman to do so. She is also in the midst of a 10-fight winning streak. She joined the UFC in 2013 and has only been defeated once in the octagon in UFC 178. However, she went on to win 3 fights in a row after that, won a title, and hasn't lost since. She holds many victories and has the longest winning streak of all fighting women at the moment. Amanda Nunes has definitely solidified her place as one of the greatest fighters in history. Number 6. Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman is definitely not the most popular fighter among fans, but you can't deny his talent and skill as a fighter. He is often known for his ability to dominate his opponents with his takedowns. Out of 17 professional fights throughout his career, Usman has only lost once, but since then, the fighter has truly been unstoppable and currently has 11 straight wins, fighting all of the top UFC fighters and solidifying his place as one as well. We are sure to be seeing even longer streak in Usman's future as he protects his streak in future matches. Number 7. Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is tied for the longest winning streak in lightweight history, with 12 wins. Before competing with the UFC, his matches earned him in a spot in the popular reality show Ultimate Fighter. He joined UFC in 2011, won his 2 fights, and had a temporary setback being defeated by Michael Johnson in 2012. It was his only loss in his entire UFC career. Between 2013 and 2019, he won 12 straight fights, solidifying his place as the #1 contender. Despite his incredible winning streak, however, he still isn't the lightweight champion. Let's hope he gets his title in the near future. Number 8. Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib Nurmagomedov currently holds the title of lightweight champion. Not only does he have one of the best winning streaks in all of UFC history, but he also has possibly the best record in UFC. Out of 31 professional fights, he hasn't lost a single one, and has won 12 consecutive fights in the UFC. Khabib's MMA run began around 2008, where he won many fights in Russia and Ukraine, then joined UFC in 2011, beating all of his opponents, defeating huge names like Conor McGregor. He is currently in tie with Tony Ferguson for the longest streak in lightweight history. Number 9. Georges St-Pierre. After his win at UFC 217, Georges St-Pierre actually announced his retirement from the company, but he he has hinted at plans to return, specifically against Khabib, so we still wanted to include him on the list as he clearly isn't done fighting just yet. Georges St-Pierre is widely considered to be one of the greatest fighters of all time, joining UFC in 2004 and winning every fight for the first 2 years, before losing a fight in 2007. Following that defeat, however, he hasn't lost a match and won a title along the way, winning 9 consecutive times and beating other huge UFC names. He has grown his victory to an incredible 13 in a row. Number 10. Jon Jones. Between 2010 and 2020, Jon Jones did have one of his wins overturned in 2014. This was due to the failure of a post-fight drug test, but we have decided that we would still include Jones on this list, as he technically didn't lose, and the test was done after the match. Jones has not legitimately lost a fight throughout his entire career. Other than this one controversial incident, Jones is a 4-time lightweight champion, and in total has won 17 straight fights. 6 of these have been won over against former champions as well, proving what an impressive and talented fighter he is despite all the controversy. Number 7. Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva currently holds 16 consecutive wins in the UFC that have not yet been beaten by any other fighter. From his UFC debut in 2006 against Chris Leben, Silva, also known as the Spider, won all of his fights in the promotion. His streak, however, was broken, but since that point, he has not lost a single fight, making fans consider him as one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. He has since announced his retirement, and we're sad we won't be able to see the Spider have another victory and continue his streak, but at least he has those incredible wins behind him. Number 12. Demetrius Johnson. Although his streak technically ended in 2016, we had to include Demetrius Johnson because of all his efforts and his impressive streak, so this can be considered a bonus mention. Johnson had the record of the most takedowns in the flyweight division, and is the joint record holder of the latest finish in UFC. With a submission win, Johnson, known as Mighty Mouse, has only suffered 2 losses in UFC. He also became the first flying weight champion, defeating Joseph Benavidez. He went on to defend his title 11 times, having a streak of 13 wins. His streak was sadly ended by Henry Cejudo at UFC 227. And finally, number 13, Max Holloway. This was another bonus mention, but how could we leave out the famous Max Holloway? Holloway is tied with a few others at 13 wins in his streak. Holloway bounced back after losing to Conor McGregor, but then went on to win 13 consecutive fights, some against big UFC names such as Charles Oliveira and Brian Ortega. The popular fighter among fans unfortunately had his streak broken after a fight. He lost to now lightweight champion Alexander Poirier. He has lost 2 fight titles against Alexander Volkanovski. Hopefully he'll have more luck in his next fights and have an even longer streak in the future. And that concludes today's video of the longest active win streaks in UFC. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to see more content like this, please make sure to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to turn on post notifications so you'll be the first to see my next video. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next one.
What we do here is go back.